Good evening. This is Patricia Barnett. Welcome to Module 7. And tonight we will be taking a look at the problem solving cycle, obstacles and aids to problem solving, critical thinking across the lifespan, and we'll close out with research on creative thinking in the workplace. Let's take a look at the problem solving cycle that consists of 7 steps. It begins with the problem identification, and it asks the question, does a problem really exist? First and foremost, does a problem really exist? From there, you go to the problem definition and representation step. What exactly is the problem? Then you move to strategy formulation. How will we go about solving this particular problem we've identified? What strategies do we need to adopt to solve the problem? According to Sternberg and Sternberg, analysis is one way of breaking down a complex issue into manageable elements, or putting together various elements in order to attain some usefulness. And this process is known as synthesis. Other strategies include divergent thinking, which allows for a number of different alternatives to be considered when looking for a solution. And convergent thinking allows for those possibilities to be thoroughly examined with the hope of converging on the best direction. Step 4 in the process is the organization of information. This step allows for the examining of all the pieces previously identified and seeing how they fit together. Step 5 is the resource allocation. In this step, we ask the question, how much time, effort, and money will it take, or do I really want to allocate or invest in solving this problem? Step 6 is monitoring. It's important to stay on track and measure if the efforts or steps being taken are actually solving the problem. Then step 7, the final step, is the evaluation. Was the problem solved correctly and appropriately? Let's take a look at some obstacles and aids to problem solving. Obstacles and aids to problem solving contain consist of so many factors that could either hinder or enhance the process. Mental sets, also known as entrenchment, can hinder or aid in problem solving. This is a frame of mind where an existing model for solving the problem exists. The individual then fixates on the existing model, which may not be the way to go about solving this particular problem. A mental set, therefore, is the solution when the problem requires the established model to solve it. Functional fixedness is a type of mental set. This hinders problem solving in that this mindset prevents one from seeing new and innovative ways of doing things, or that an existing tool could be used for something other than what it has been known for. Functional fixedness, unfortunately, can exclude viable options for problem solving. Positive and negative transfer can hinder or aid in problem solving. Transfer is any carryover of knowledge or skills from one situation to the next. Positive transfer aids in problem solving because it allows for the transfer of a solution already proven to work. Negative transfer of knowledge hinders because it may not be ideal for the current problem. Transfer of knowledges can aid in problem solving because it involves finding a starting point because of an approach that was previously used and proven to work. Incubation can aid in problem solving by simply walking away and taking a conscious break from the problem. While the problem is not being consciously thought about, it is still present subconsciously and allows for perhaps a fresh insight while on that rest or break from the problem. Let's take a look at critical thinking across lifespan. Dramatic mental, physical, and behavioral changes take place across a lifespan. In the case of humans, this begins as newborns and progresses into adulthood, acquiring life and motor skills along the way. Over time, the growth stops in the decline, and the decline begins with behavior, mental, and physical decline. As these changes occur, so do the hierarchy of needs. Humans experience emotions, and they vary substantially across the lifespan. Cognitive and affective neuroscience point to behavioral and neural responses to emotional cues that change with age. Starting at infancy and early childhood, emotions are experienced through attachment to a caregiver and environmental learning. At the adolescent stage, maturity into adulthood begins, and those childhood attachments begin to diminish and independence begins to set in. And peers now replace parents as emotional support. Physical maturation begins at this stage, and attraction amongst others also begins. Positioning into social groups begin, and individual strengths and weaknesses are identified. In the final period, late adulthood, physical and mental decline begin along with other major life changes as life stressors take root. Research indicates that despite this period of significant change, the emotional stance of this stage compares almost equally to that of the adolescent stage. And the reason for this is attributed to the fact that the thinking shifts for this group as they focus their efforts and emotions on the here and now versus long term. This is referred to as socio-emotional selectivity theory and is evidenced in research by the study that shows where aging reduces responses to negative information while responses to positive information are maintained. This stage is also accompanied with bodily changes that impact emotions, that impact well-being. The brain starts to decline, impacting emotion and cognition, which eventually lend itself to contentment in the final years of the lifespan. Let's take a look at research on creative thinking in the workplace. Being creative means producing something that is original and worthwhile. Creative individuals are insightful. They understand and extend flexibility to include other cultures, races, and religious beliefs. They have a non-conforming attitude and approach and often do not demonstrate stereotypical behaviors. Creative people in the workplace are known to be experts in their field, and they're motivated by that field and actually enjoy their area of specialization. According to research, creative thinkers are also divergent thinkers. Creativity in the workplace also tend to be among the individuals who demonstrate a great degree of drive, dominance, ambition, self-confidence, and self-acceptance. They're self-disciplined and they strive for excellence. They're willing to criticize their own work in order to improve it. They are risk takers and they're carefully select where they focus their creativity because of their specific knowledge. I hope this provided some insight for you on the problem-solving cycle, obstacles and aids to problem solving, critical thinking across the lifespan, and research on creative thinking in the workplace. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.